write about someone, you...
Inspector, everyone knew Sir William because I've talked to plenty of people who ran away.
Verified by...
The horror of those people's eyes, Inspector. It will come...
This is leading nowhere. Sir, you have no business...
Don't counter.
Have you ever seen a prison cell?
I have. But don't get me wrong, it's nothing to shout about. Is that supposed to be a threat? You can't arrest me.
I'll do it.
I'll complain.
You can.
I'm not going to leave anyway. The public has a right to know what's going on.
He didn't swallow the... Is it true?
You mean that Sir William was a beast and a monster? Yes, that is true.
I must confess that I don't know what to think.
Who of us is able to understand God's intention? But I am sure it was not God's will that he came into this world.
What do you mean?
When he was born, it was as if he wasn't one of God's creations. Understand me, it is...
I understand.
It was very difficult. We had to bury her on the gallows hill.
Where is it?
It is a place forgotten by God. A cemetery for suicides.
And what about his father?
He disappeared the night when all the servants left the mansion. And then, only William remained with Lady Miriam.
All this? Just because he had a...
No, of course not. When he grew older, strange stories began to be told about. Once, it was a dead cat in his arms. Once, he was found sitting next to a dead horse. And whenever a maid disappeared, you can easily guess whose work it was said to have. At that time, his father was still alive and kept the estate together. But that was... The servants revolted, his father vanished, and only ruins remain.
I'd like to know more.
You must excuse me, detective, but there is nothing...
The coffin was closed.
Yes?
By whose request?
Lady Miriam, the grandmother of...
That's suspicious, don't you?
I can't understand.
I think it might have already been empty before the funeral. Perhaps it was Lady Miriam's last attempt to protect her grandson. He would soon be forgotten about. Lady Miriam might have faked his death in the hope that is what would happen.
I am sorry, but this seems rather far-fetched to me. The absolute isolation and the permanent fear of discovery would be worse than a prison sentence.
You're right, but people sometimes do desperate things when they have no other choice. It's possible that those delinquents tried to break into the church. Perhaps the gravedigger tried to stop them, and so they killed him.
But what do the destruction of the tomb and disappearance of the body have to do with it?
It can be a provocation, or a camouflage. They try to put us off.
I can't...
We're at the very beginning.
If I can help with anything...
In that case, I would...
Yes, that is a good idea.
If you find something out and I'm not here anymore, send a message to the station.
You can rely on me, Detective.
The journalist finally gave up, but there's still a strange... Do you know that man?
I do, sir, unfortunately.
Why the regret?
His name is Nathaniel Forrest. He brings nothing but trouble. I don't know how it's possible, sir, but any time anything happens, he's there. He's like a pain in my neck, sir.
Which newspaper does he write for?
The Courier, sir. A local sheet, nothing special. He publishes a photograph, adds several pages of rubbish, and people swallow it. But in my opinion, sir, serious people never read anything like that.
I see Mr. Forrest gave up.
Well, sir, I would think so, only if I didn't know him.
What do you mean?
It wouldn't be in his character to leave so easily, sir.
What else could he do, in your opinion, if you know him so well?
I didn't worry as in my sight, but now he might have found another way in. I can watch over the main gate, but the cemetery is too large. I would just like to remind you, sir, that I wanted to go to the station for support.
Thank you for the reminder, but don't worry about that. As for the journalist, he surely realized that it's useless.
If you think so, sir.
There's just some blasted... Stop! Stay where you are! It can't be true. That rascal got what he deserved. I hope he's broken something too. Sometimes even the slightest... The ground is too hard. Just you wait. He's gone. I wonder how I will explain this to my superiors. The glass plates are missing. So he must have taken them. He had this all planned. How many photos did he manage to take? I wasn't away for long. Anyway, he must have known he would lose it. He didn't even try to take it. Sometimes even the The journalist tried to take as many photos as he could, but he didn't have as much time as I. Two hours is plenty of time. I'd rather find some clues. 2 hours. 2 hours is plenty of time. I'd rather find some clues, as they'll be... It wasn't his fault. Quite the contrary. If I had taken his advice, I wouldn't have to explain to my superiors how the... The glass plates are missing. Some of the pieces are missing. Pity. Two hours is plenty of time. I can't get there without keys.